In an effort to improve outreach to military veterans in the United States and Canada who may be struggling with an alcohol problem, we have collected interviews from AA members who are veterans of the U.S. or Canadian Armed Forces to share the experience and strength and hope they have found in Alcoholics Anonymous.
Hello, everyone. My name is Armando. I am an alcoholic. I am from the Chicago South Side area. I've been in sobriety for going on 4 years. Well, October will be 4 years. October 19th is my sobriety date. You know, I'm really grateful to be here and be able to like share the message with other veterans and, you know, continue to help any human being that is struggling with the disease. So I joined the military shortly after 9/11. I went to boot camp in 2004. You know, the Iraq War started in 2003. You know, being in the program, I realized I was an alcoholic before I went in the military. I used to blame the military for my alcoholism. So, you know, I ended up going to boot camp at Fort Knox, Kentucky. I was like, I want to go active. So, got orders to go to Hawaii. I'm like, man, I got lucky. Yeah, but when I got to Hawaii, you know, there's a lot of us. They're like, yeah, man, we got the island and all this stuff, great stuff. We're like, oh, no, we're leaving in 2 months. We're going to create Iraq, man, for a year, which ended up being for 15 months. So yeah, we got deployed, you know, and you know, went to Iraq, which you know that was an experience. At first, I was on gate guard. I was on vehicle search, which wasn't too fun. I was carrying the old 249 with the 200-round drum. Had to climb up the trucks and stuff, and it was really slow there. Like, you know, it didn't seem like anything was happening. And then, you know, finally reality, that's when I got my first encounter with combat. They planted landmines like at the TCP gate at the end. There was a civilian convoy coming in. I remember just seeing a big mushroom cloud. Man, you see the cloud before you even hear the explosion. And then, you know, we're pulling the guys out. It was like quick action, you know. And it's crazy because all that training you do, it's like, man, we did this over and over and over and over. But man, when you know when it hit the fan, it's muscle memory. You know, that's the way I see it too. Is like with the meetings, continue with your literature, even on your own, because it's repeated action. Yeah, so we were there for a year. And then I ended up getting put on patrol. I was a gunner, and I mean, we dealt with a lot of mostly IEDs, pressure wire IEDs, and yeah, I tell you, thank God for bringing me home in one piece. You know, I took it for granted. Like, you know how many times I could have. I mean, there's some that even didn't make it home because there was nothing left. PTSD was also not really a common thing until we got back in like in 06, 07. Started, you know, hearing about it, but everyone's like, it's never gonna be me, man. It's never gonna be me. And then I see the stigma. I mean, I will admit, I was one of those jerks that was actually like, did the stigma like, oh, he's a piece of crap. You know, he's not good to the unit. But, you know, there was a lot of drinking when I came back. I actually got my DUI, about a month or two after I got back from Iraq, on base. And yeah, I lost rank. I ended up getting it back quick. But the drinking didn't get any better. It was just like everybody was drinking. I mean, you drink with all different ranks. So after my time in the military, you know, I surely went back into like hanging out with the old friends in the streets, the ones that still doing the same thing before I left the military, drinking in the basement, you know, doing cocaine, selling drugs, and you know, doing all that crazy stuff. So throughout, like, you know, in the 2000 teens, like, you know, 14, 15, and so on, I was just living that vicious cycle. Just like when I read in the big book, you know, it's just, I knew I had problems. So I ended up going to a Midway Fellowship Club, which is my home group, and gave it a shot, you know. But I was still stubborn. I still had that ego. Like I didn't need a sponsor, you know, this and that. I tell you the truth, I didn't even know how I lasted like 4 or 5 months. I don't know how I did it. I didn't work the steps. I didn't do none of that. I was just coming to meetings. Um, you know, of course, you know, I loved everybody there and everything, but But in the back of my head and just that taste, I knew that I was going to relapse sooner or later. Man, when I did, it was worse. And I'll tell you one thing: when you have a little bit of AA knowledge and you relapse, man, it tears your head off. It really does. That sounds like, man, that big book really does. It's the truth, it doesn't change. It doesn't matter what time of the year. Since 1935, it's still the same. You're an alcoholic, and we do these stupid things. We think we got it our ways the right way. It's everybody's fault but ours. But yeah, it was at that point where I was crying in the dark, like literally. Throughout all these years of drinking, I didn't even think about that I'm a father. My daughter, my oldest, she had to deal with a lot of my alcoholism. But it really got to the point. Another thing too, remember I was saying I was in denial that I had even mental health issues. I had insomnia, I had PTSD, anxiety. It got to the point I couldn't do anything. I had to drink. And I refused to take medications because I seen what it did to some of the guys in service. It got to the point where I'm waking up in detox at the VA. I'm like a revolving door. I was suicidal. I felt like, I wanted to take my life. I was in my apartment. I actually put my Class A jacket on, with medals on, and I made, I got me a rope, and there's a canopy in the yard at my mom's house. I walked through the back of the yard, and I'm telling you, it was just like I was finally gonna get relief in my life. I'm like, I'm ready to go. No one loves me. I hate myself. Like I had the rope around my neck. It was just a brief moment where Jesus, God, dude, that was it. That was my rude awakening. And I ended up saying goodbye text messages to friends and family. One of my friends came and got me. So I go to the VA, go to the psych ward for a little bit, and then I wait till the bed opened. You call it 2 North, which was the substance abuse program. And I took it serious. And then I contacted the guys. I still had the numbers from my old, from AA. And the first thing I did, man, it was went to a meeting. And then I started really paying attention. And Bill W. is a World War I veteran. He talks about it in chapter 1. And then also it's just like, being a veteran, I have a big heart for vets. And, read through some literature. And like in the 12 and 12, it talks about too, like, the veterans of the armed forces help pass the message of Alcoholics Anonymous around the world. These guys are staying sober by letters from people they don't know from other AA locations, grapevine providing literature, and I can't even walk down the street and go to a meeting. These guys are in the combat zone, with letters. It's just, it really opened up my eyes. It's just, I really wanted it. So when I went into rehab, I told them, I'm like, look, if I don't find something to help me with my mental health, I'm going to drink. So, and I didn't know the difference between the prescription. I didn't know there's ones that you get that are not addicted. I just thought, just my experiences with seeing other veterans, being pumped with pills, and just being around and hearing it. So I felt safe, and then found what medication works for me. And the psychiatrist that I work with, he's awesome. So that's one thing I promote too. I try to tell the vets. They're like, I don't like my social worker. I don't like my psychiatrist. I'm like, dude, you have an option. Tell them that you don't feel this is working out, and go see another one. They're not supposed to be there for them. They're there for you. And then it's the same thing with AA meetings. Vets like, I went to an AA meeting. I hated it. I'm like, you just went to one, right? I was like, dude, let me put it this way. What's your favorite food? Say if it's pizza. You're going to eat pizza at one place and you don't like it. Are you going to stop eating pizza forever? No, you're going to go to another place. AA taught me more, not just about sobriety, but also learn more about myself. Like, it's a never-ending journey, and you can have fun with it. And you're going to have bad days. You can't control what's going on out there. All you can do is try to get through the day. I used to worry about the future. There's another saying I would tell veterans too. Like, if you keep living in the past, to see is like a tripwire. Every time you go back and you trip on that wire, you're gonna get blown up. You got to find your obstacle around it and keep moving forward. Or you're gonna fall. Let that ego go. You're not alone. I know it's hard. I know it's really hard, but you're not a failure, and you're not less of a man or a woman. or soldier or Marine or airman or seaman or Space Forcer, I don't know how to say it. I believe that when you're helping yourself, they say it's a selfish program. That's just people bashing it. It's not. It's selfish if I'm out there drinking. That's when it's selfish. But when you're helping yourself, you're helping everyone around you. Just it'll all come together. Just make a priority your sobriety. And remember too, find another veteran that's in recovery. Because you remember this. When we go into battle, we don't go alone. Right? We will guide each other 6 o'clock. Right? And when we're going to battle, the war, we don't go by ourselves. We can't do it by ourselves. See, like that. We need the team. We need the platoon. We need each other's backs to help each other through this battle with ourselves. There's a chance. And remember, if you need to go to rehab, go to rehab. There's nothing wrong with that. You need to talk to another alcoholic or another addict, veteran or not. We're all the same.
Armando, thank you for your service. Thank you for sharing your experience, your strength, and your hope with us today.
The views and opinions expressed during this podcast are those of the individuals. No one person speaks for AA as a whole. For more information about AA, please visit our website at aa.org. To find a meeting near you or a meeting online, download the Meeting Guide app on your mobile device.